So you may think you know all the suburbs around Austin, Cedar Park, Leander, Round Rock, Georgetown, but this is one town that no one asks me about. No one even knows about it, which is really a bummer for everyone because this town has got shopping, hiking, views, gorgeous houses, but without the stuffiness and the busyness of a big city. So we're talking about Bee Cave, and today we're going to get into the pros and cons of Bee Cave to see if you should check it out. By the way, my name is Tiffany Moore with Rise and Shine Realty. I put out videos every single week showcasing the market here in Austin, Texas. So if you want to make sure that you stay up to date on whatever is going on in the current market, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And also, if you'd like my free guide on how to buy your first home in Austin, comment below and I'll send you the link. So pro number one is the proximity to Austin. Bee Cave is 17 miles west of downtown Austin, which is only like a 26-minute drive. For reference, the new Apple campus that is about to be finished is literally across the street from my neighborhood, and it takes me about 20 to 25 minutes to drive downtown. So if that distance is good enough for Apple, it is good enough for Bee Cave. And that's definitely close enough to Austin to come and see shows, to go to restaurants, and really do the fun things that there are to do in Austin. Pro number two is the shopping. So one of the coolest things about Bee Cave is Hill Country Galleria. This is an outdoor shopping area with 152 acres of shopping, dining, entertainment. It's got big stores like Barnes & Noble, Best Buy, and Marshalls, as well as smaller independent businesses. So it's a really good mix of department stores and locally owned shops to choose from. This really is in the heart of Bee Cave, and across the street from the Galleria is a huge H-E-B, which is our grocery store out here, and there are a handful of shops and restaurants outside the Galleria as well. Pro number three, great schools, and this is a really big pro. So Bee Cave is served by the Lake Travis Independent School District, which is one of the top rated school districts in the area. So Lake Travis ISD was given an A for the 2019 to 2020 school year. FYI, ratings were not completed last year due to COVID, so this is the most up-to-date information that there is. Also, I like to use greatschools.org for all kinds of data on the schools and school districts. You can really pin down whatever you're looking for each school. So back to the school rating. This is great news if you have kids attending schools, and it's still really good news if you don't. So good schools make an impact on your home's resale values. This is definitely a factor to consider. If you haven't yet, check out my Lakeway video. Lakeway has got like the same school district, and I talk about how school districts definitely play a role in your home appreciating in value, mostly in the suburbs. So in the city of Austin, like in Austin proper, those are the most expensive homes when we're talking about price per square foot, but they don't have the best schools. So just like any inner city school or inner city area, schools are not going to be awesome. The same is true for Austin. So when we talk about school districts having an impact on your home's appreciation, we're really talking about suburbs like Lakeway, Bee Cave, Georgetown, Leander, those places. Pro number four is outdoor fun. So Bee Cave is located near the south shore of Lake Travis, which is larger than Lady Bird Lake and has lots of recreation centers on its banks and its shores. It also has several parks and hiking trails. You can visit the Bee Cave Sculpture Park if you enjoy like running into natural and artificial wildlife. In addition to the art, you're going to find some of the largest oak trees in the city and a spring-fed pond, over 20 different native plants throughout the 7-acre park. So hikers can also visit the Greenway Primitive Trails, where you can get about 5 miles of running or hiking throughout some really uncrowded, kind of secluded areas. I like to think of Bee Cave as a great community if you like land fun, and Lakeway is a place to be if you like water fun. They're both in pretty generally similar areas. Pro number five is just a laid-back living. So Bee Cave is known for having a laid-back and relaxed atmosphere. The population is only about 7,000, so it has that really small town feel that a lot of folks are looking for. So keep in mind that like most suburbs, Bee Cave is growing, and actually the population has grown 35% since 2014. So if you aren't into small town living, this still might be a good spot for you because it continues to grow. Bee Cave is tucked away in Hill Country and is kind of in the middle between Austin and Lakeway. It still has the rolling hills and the beautiful green trees of Lakeway, and it's only about 10 to 15 minutes away from the water. So what are some cons of living in Bee Cave? It sounds amazing. What could be bad? The first con is there's no public transportation. There just isn't any public transportation in Bee Cave. This is really similar to Lakeway if you saw my recent video about Lakeway. So if you want to live here, you're definitely going to need a car to get around. Texas is really spread out, and without a car, it's going to be really hard for you to live in almost any Texas town, and Bee Cave is really no exception. I talked to a lot of people who are moving out here from New York City, Boston, Seattle, and they want to live somewhere walkable, and I make sure that they understand that Austin is not that kind of town. Even in the city, you're still going to need a car to get groceries, to go to restaurants, to go to the movies. You may live close to a coffee shop or a little cafe or your local neighborhood bookstore, but Austin is not set up like New York. We don't have like bodegas on every corner. We don't have a subway system. You're going to need to drive or at least Uber for sure. So the second con is traffic. With that being said, if you're going to go to Austin a lot, you're going to have to take a car and you're going to have to deal with traffic. There's just no way around it. So I mentioned that the drive is about 25 minutes, but that can vary wildly due to the time of day, the day of the week, what's happening in Austin, the construction, all of those things. Plus, to get to Bee Cave, there's really just one or two roads in and out. And they are not the major highways like I-35, which you've probably heard of, or 183 or Mopac. So if there are any issues with those roads, you may be stuck in traffic for a lot longer than you expected. I was going to show a house in Bee Cave one time, and it only takes me like 20-30 minutes to get there from my house. It took me an hour and a half. And I was on a road that was on top of a dam. So there was no way to go around it. We were just like landlocked on the road. I had no detours that I could take. It was a nightmare. And so I had to keep calling my client like, I'm really sorry, I'm stuck on the dam. And they're like, that's okay, I'm stuck 10 minutes ahead of you. So just to be aware, like it's not that easy to get in and out of, and it's not like a major highway. You're like, oh, I'll just take this exit off. Like, no, sometimes there's no ins or outs. Con number 3, and this is a big one, cost of living. Bee Cave is not cheap. The overall cost of living index is Bee Cave is 145, which the national average is 100. So this is significantly higher than that. The major reason for this high cost of living is the same as for Austin and for Lakeway. It's housing costs. So the housing costs in Bee Cave are very high. The median home cost in Bee Cave is about $800,000 right now as of August 2nd, 2022. So as of today, there are only 15 homes for sale in Bee Cave that have 3 or more bedrooms. Only 2 of those are priced under $800,000. Half of them are priced at $1 million or above. So these homes are listed at about $300 or $400 price per square foot, like $300 or $400 per square foot, just to give you an idea. Homes in the city of Austin are listed closer to around $600 per square foot. So we're talking about like Austin is the most expensive place to be price per square foot, but the homes in Austin tend to be smaller. So that's why the price tags in Bee Cave and Lakeway are higher because the homes are bigger. Con number 4 is proximity to Austin. And I mention this as a pro, but it can also be a con. So Austin is somewhat close, but if you plan to go to Austin very frequently, you might find yourself on a lot of days saying like, I don't really feel like fighting traffic. You might find yourself skipping out on a lot of the Austin events that you plan to go to just because it's too far and you just don't want to deal with it. I mentioned that I live next to the new Apple campus and we're about 20 to 25 minutes from downtown. And if it's a Friday night at 6 o'clock, I do not want to drive downtown. It's not so much the travel time, but it's the traffic that really deters me. And I have the big highways. I can just hop on the highway and get down there. There's still going to be traffic, but it's not going to be as congested as it's going to be if you're coming from like Lakeway or Bee Cave. So if you plan on going to the city several times a week, Bee Cave is probably not the best place for you. I mentioned Bee Cave being really close to Lakeway, so check out my latest Lakeway video. And if you're thinking about moving to Austin and you have some questions, reach out to me. My contact info is below.